1800 metres now, and Physique in front by 2 lengths to Mummify. Sound Action to third, Delzeo fourth, and a length away fifth, Lonro the inside within 4 lengths of the leader now at the 1600. Behind him is the Cello, and there followed Elves from the outside, a length and a half the Jewel, and then Fantastic, and 2 lengths Maccabi Diva last of all. Out to the 1400, and Physique rolling along as he likes to do. He's about 3 lengths in front. Mummify does the chasing, 2 lengths to Sound Action. A length and a half the favourite Lonro fourth, the inside Delzeo on his outside. 1.5 Cicello, followed by Elfstrom, and then came Fantastic. A length further back is the Jewel, and last Maccabi Diva about 12 lengths from the leader. It's a generous pace. It's set by Physique, out by 3 lengths to Mummify, 3 lengths to Sound Action. Lonro every chance, a length and a half away fourth on the inside at the 1000. Delzeo is around the champ, and 2 lengths further back is Elfstrom, followed by Cicello the rail. Another 2 lengths away Fantastic, and then the Jewel, and 2 Maccabi Diva last of all. 700 left to go in the Daly Australian Cup. It's Physique in front. Mummify popped off the fence 3/4 away. 2 lengths to Sound Action. Lonro the inside within 4 of the leader, coming around the turn now, and then Delzeo followed by Elfstrom. Cicello is hard ridden, then Fantastic. Maccabi Diva the Jewel dropped out last. Physique the leader in the straight from Mummify. There's the gap coming for Lonro. Sound Action tries to pocket him. Beatman in a bit of trouble trying to force through. He got checked, the champ, and Sound Action hit the front now from Mummify. Lonro, the champion's in desperate trouble. Delzeo's gone past him. 150 to go. He's got to the outside. Delzeo in front. The crowd roaring, go Lonro, go. But the 3-year-old's in front. Delzeo, Lonro, he's coming. He's going to get there. Yes, Lonro won it. What a champion. What a way to go. He beat Delzeo. Elfstrom is third, and they were followed closely by Fantastic, Mummify, and further back Maccabi Diva, Sound Action, Cicello, Physique, and the Jewel is a long last. What a way to go. What a champion. He was staring defeat right in the eyeball at the 200, off the canvas, as only champions can do. Lonro has won the Daly Australian Cup. What a victory. A momentous win. Perhaps his greatest ever. His 10th Group 1. He was down and out, but like champions do, he's been able to win. What a stunning win. A magnificent victory. They ganged up on him.
The alarm bells were certainly ringing inside the final 300 metres. But Andrew, I think that's one of the most extraordinary things I've ever seen.
Unbelievable. This is just one of incredible racing moments. Bob Ingham is down here. Bob, being congratulated. Bob, how's that?
Oh, never better. I'm very emotional.
What in the heck was going to happen at the 300? Darren just couldn't get off heels.
What a horse and what a ride. You know, just unbelievable. I can't tell you what the feeling is. I don't think I've ever been so happy and so emotional in my life. This is just fantastic.
He is a champion on that, isn't he?
And it's fabulous the way the public down here have taken to him. And if they don't call him a champion now, I don't know what you got to do to be a champion.
What about the emotion of the crowd? Could you feel it down the straight?
Oh, could you feel it? I was tucked in with Johnny Hawkes watching it.
What was he giving away, John?
John, he said he'll win, don't worry. When he got out, boy, did we cheer him home. It was just...
Well done, Bob.
Just fabulous. Thanks very much.
Bob Ingham joining us there. The Strappo, he was very emotional. Grant, we're about to catch up with John Hawkes as well. If you can just bear with us for probably about 20 seconds. This has just got to be one of those racing moments that everyone here on track. Wayne Hawkes is here, so too the Strapper. Boys, how about that?
Yeah, it was pretty good. Don't get much better than that, does it?
What did you honestly think there when he couldn't get out clear?
I can't tell you on air, Andrew, because if I told you exactly what I thought and what I said, I don't think I'd ever be allowed back on Sky. But I just couldn't believe that he copped, you know, that what happened. I haven't really seen the head on yet, but I can't wait to see that. But when he half got, you know, I don't know whether he got flattened or what happened. When the first check came, the second check came, I thought, well, it's all over here. And all I kept thinking was this wasn't how it was supposed to be.
Grant the Strapper, you've looked after this horse all the way along, mate. Just turn around so the boys can get a shot of you. How about that?
Oh, that champion effort. You know, you can't call him a champion after that effort. That was freak effort. He's entitled to be beat, and he kept on firing, and he's won. You know, what more can you ask, you know?
What about just the last 100 in the crowd? Were you out here with us?
I was standing out here, and I was roaring, but if you see me on camera, I was roaring the whole way, mate, don't you? I was lifting him home. I done my best.
Could you think he was going to get there?
No, I thought he was gone. Once he got the check, then I thought he's gone. He's got no hope, you know. As Wayne, you know, a few choice words were said as well, but, you know, we got over that, and he's won. He's a champion.
Well done, mate.
Thanks very much for that.
All right, now we've got to try and find John Hawkes here. Hawksy is around here somewhere. He normally plays it pretty low key, but I'm just looking around here. I can see everyone bar John Hawkes at the moment. He's up here doing another interview, so we might come back in just a tick, Matt. We'll get John Hawkes in just a moment.
Well, I suppose the pressure's on Sydney now. We've got to try and match this amazing farewell that Melbourne's put on for him this afternoon. He comes to Sydney now, and we expect that he'll have 2 more runs. And the most likely scenario is that he will have his final race start in the Queen Elizabeth Stakes. I've got Alf Matthews joining me from Flemington. Alf, what is amazing is this horse is so much like Octagonal. Octagonal never used to win by a big margin, but he used to have that fight and that determination, and that's exactly what his son's got.
Matt, given what actually took place at about the 250-metre mark, he wasn't entitled to win at all. However, as they say, champions get up and go when they know they can't. He fits into that category. It'll shut everybody up for the rest of his life, and he now goes down into racing history because he certainly is, as far as I'm concerned, a champion. And look, I'm not going to make any excuses for any other runner in the race. I think a few were a bit disappointing. I was pleased to see Del Zeo finally get his act together with the blinkers on. He was very game in defeat, but in saying that, the winner should have won a lot easier, but he really is the real deal.
All right, Andrew, who have you got with you now?
Well, I was going to have John Hawkes. He's just wandered through. Just give me a sec here. He's just waiting for his horse to return. How was that, John? Just quickly.
Can't get any better than that, Andrew. So.
Hey?
Can't get any better than that, mate.
What about the last 100? Could you feel it? I reckon you would have heard the crowd in there.
Yeah, I felt it a bit myself, but anyway, we overcome it, and that's what champions do, mate. So.
A very emotional moment, this one. Bring on Sydney the last couple of runs.
Yeah, well, this was the main one I really wanted, so if we can go back to Sydney and win, that'll be fantastic, but this is really the one I wanted.
Well done, mate.
Thank you.
Thanks, John. John Hawkes there. How many out in Adelaide? I'll just check there. 2 to move in. Darren, how's that, mate?
Oh, 2.
Take it off a bit.
No.
That was a win and a half.
Did you think you were going to get there?
Oh, 2.
Take it off a bit.
No.
That was a win and a half.
Did you think you were going to get there?
Well, there was a run there, and they just closed up on me, tried to cut me out of it, but I tell you what, there's none like this horse.
Right, well done, mate. Darren Beedman joins us.
It's one of the few horses with an amazing win rate. 75% win strike rate was his record going into today. As we have a look at him, just reeling in Del Zeo over the last little bit. It was quite incredible. He takes his record now. Well, his prize money is up towards $5.5 million. 33 starts for 25 wins and 4 minor placings, and that's even better when you think about. I think only a couple of times in that career of 33 starts has he raced outside of group company. Nearly all of his runs have been in Group 1, 2 or 3. So 25 wins from 33 starts. And Australian Cup presentation is underway at Flemington after a great win by Lonhro. We'll be right back with more shortly.
Those knockers over there, up there, they can all go home. I'd like to thank Darren Beedman for, as you would all say, a superlative ride. Darren has had a long association with my late brother and myself. He's ridden horses for us since he was first an apprentice. And I don't know how many winners he has ridden for us, but he just keeps getting better. I'd like to thank our two stud masters, Peter Flynn and Ray Kirkup, for what they do running our studs. Ted McCabe for the job he does running our two pre-training and breaking in operations. And of course,
we'll leave the presentation there for the moment, but yes, an emotional one after Lonhro's win in the Darley Australian Cup. Congratulations to all connected.
Well, it's certainly a great thrill to be here today to see Lonhro perform at his best, which I think it was perhaps his best ever performance. These things don't happen with a lot of people behind the scenes who put in a lot of effort over a long period of time. I'd like to thank all my staff throughout Australia, but particularly Peter Snowden in Sydney, who will be just as excited as if he was here today, my son Wayne here in Melbourne, and all our staff throughout Australia. I'd also like to thank Darren Beedman. Perhaps wasn't one of his best rides, but he got him over the line, and that's really all you've got to do. So he's had a great association with the horse, and I think even Darren was feeling the pressure a little bit today. But in the end, you can only win, and I thank Darren for all the effort he's put in, not just today, it's been over a long period of time. I'd also like to thank Mr. Bob Ingham and his family, and the late Mr. Jack Ingham, who's, excuse me for that, I'm sure he's down there watching upon us today. But I'd just like to thank Bob and all his family for what they've done for me since I actually went to Sydney. I'd also like to thank Trevor Lobb and all the people at the studs that do a lot of work behind the scenes. And I'd like to thank Darley for their great sponsorship. They've just started in Australia, and I'm sure they'll be a force to be reckoned with in the not too distant future. Thank you very much.
John Hawkes, he's done very well to get through that speech under some very difficult circumstances at Flemington race. Modern Era number 2 for Brian Mayfield Smith. Laurie just trained that winner at Eagle Farm. Brian trains Modern Era. 3:10, it's the Super Tab favourite, ahead of Dane Trist number 6, and then Fort Knox number 4 at $6.80. The Chubb Trophy for 3-year-olds over 1,700 metres. And that's with about $168,000 in the pool. Let's take you back to Flemington and hear from Peter Mertens. He's riding Action Shot in the next.
Good to see you, Peter. Action Shot. Yeah, he's not...
They're ready in the mounting yard. They're just waiting for Darren to appear. So, yes, around 5 minutes, I'd say, until the next. But that's a guesstimate. Correct weight at Eagle Farm, race 4, 172.11. The first 4 was $3,322.40, with weight on the fourth. The Australian Cup, if you missed it, it was a truly brilliant result. Lonhro won the race after looking beaten in the home straight, and I really don't think you could probably put a measure on how good that result is going to be for racing. The news tonight is going to be Lonhro. He'll be all over the papers tomorrow. He's made the front page in Sydney a couple of times this week, predominantly through that punter that had $1 million on him, had the $1 million bet. But he has been so good for racing, Lonhro. He really has. Bumped into people during the week that don't follow racing on a day-to-day basis, but they have been quite captured by this remarkable horse, Lonhro. All right, Alf, they're at the gates. Back to you for the late mail, race 7.
Yeah, thanks, Matt. I'm going to stick with number 2 here, Modern Era. I like where it's drawn. I just think it'll be very, very effective, the gate. And Greg Childs, he's in good form too. Look pretty good too. More than happy to stay with it. Number 5, Action Shot, with the benefit of 2 runs back. Looks spot on. Again, should get the right run. Number 4, Fort Knox. It's got Darren Beedman. It's probably all you need on a day like today. And I've also included number 6, Dane Trist. Although in saying that, I have been somewhat disappointed with her. Has been a little bit of a drifter on course. And as I speak, it drifts out again. No value, the tote at the moment. Andrew.
Yes, John Blakey's joining us, of course. They're running a tick late here. Darren Beedman's just going out onto the track. He was delayed by the presentation. John Blakey, how was that moment about 40 minutes ago?
Amazing, yeah. Isn't he something?
Where did you watch it, and just the feeling amongst the crowd?
I watched it in the mounting yard, and yeah, couldn't help it.
I think it'll be one of those days where there's probably somewhere between 20 and 30,000 of us here, but in 10 years there will be 100,000 here that we saw Lonhro when it's race in Melbourne.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, for sure.
One of those special days.
Here.
Yep. What about this horse, Better Jet Setter? It's regarded as one of the roughies, but look, it's coming off a maiden second last time, but it finished off really good.
Oh, he did amazing. Like Lonhro, he got decked, but he didn't quite get there, unfortunately, and we were in a maiden at Ballarat. But his run's been really good. His form's good. A lot of Derby form around in the springtime. North Face and Bahar run behind him at Moonee Valley.
Even the run there at Geelong got beaten by 5, but it wasn't too bad a run in that Derby down there behind the penitentiary.
Nah, it was a good run. He pulled a bit and sort of had enough, but he's come back a little bit better. So good run.
Moving in, get the advantage point.
Thanks, mate.
Thanks, John.
Thank you.
John Blakey, the trainer of Better Jet Setter, as they move in, Matt, for race 7.
Yes, and our live coverage of the Chubb Trophy is proudly brought to you by Jayco Caravans. They are getting set for race 7. Modern Era remains the TAB favourite at 3:10. They're moving in. Here's Greg.
Dane Trist coming in. So Dane Trist goes in next to Life's a Bounty, Peridan, and Zoo coming up. 3:20 or 3:10 now for the favourite Modern Era. Zoo goes in, Modern Era comes up, Delago's Dream comes along into the lineup now. Darren Beedman brings Fort Knox to the line. Action Shot and World Explorer coming up together. There's still a tingle in the air from that amazing Australian Cup victory by Lonhro. You don't see them do that at Group 1 level too often, and with all the hype of his last race start, it was just one of those absolute magic moments of racing. Best Australian Cup I've seen for sure. Now there's Our Court taking the outside, so the field is ready now for the Chubb Trophy. They're set. Racing now at the 1700 metres, and Modern Era one of the first out in company with Peridan, and Fort Knox dropped in for the trail early. Suntea goes forward. Then Better Jet Setter and Dane Trist is on the improvement. Our Court's whipping up from a wide barrier and is pressing on looking for the lead. Peridan has it at the 1400. Our Court declares him on though, and Suntea settles down third. 2.5 lengths away Modern Era, getting a good trail in fourth placing as Our Court goes to the lead. Dane Trist now sixth on the outside within about 6 or 7 of the leader. Better Jet Setter in that bunch at the 1200 metres is in between runners, and Action Shots down on the rail. So Dane Trist doing some work out wide there. One further back, Life's a Bounty got a check in the lime colours, Zoo around it, and then Fort Knox, and they're followed Delago's Dream and World Explorer back last. 900 left to go. Our Court in front by a length. Suntea's up second, about 2 lengths away Peridan. Modern Era has gone up around it, and then Dane Trist doing some work still. One further back, Action Shot, and the white colours on the inside. Better Jet Setter is with it as they came down to approach the home turn, and 2 lengths further back, Life's a Bounty on the between runners. Fort Knox is on the rails, and back behind those horses, Delago Moon pulled out. Zoo is ahead of it, and World Explorer last in a field that is bunched as they came round the turn. Our Court had slowed the pace after getting to the lead, comes into the straight trying to get away from the rail, leading from Suntea. Modern Era chiming in the white colours the outside. Action Shot to the inner, and Peridan right over on the inside rail, and here's Life's a Bounty letting down with a big run for Noel Callow. Modern Era goes to the lead. Life's a Bounty a challenger. Action Shot on the inside. Modern Era with a fight on his hands, the leader. Life's a Bounty trying hard, and Action Shot is lifting the inside. Modern Era, Action Shot. Modern Era, Action Shot are bobbing, go to the line. They hit it together. Modern Era or Action Shot, and Fort Knox has really stretched in the last little bit to get up close to them on the inside. Next to finish, Life's a Bounty, who just wilted on his run after getting there quickly at the 200, and they were followed then by World Explorer, Peridan, Better Jet Setter, and a break Delago Moon, Zoo. Dane Trist had a tough run, and then towards the end is Our Court, who weakened after leading, and back last Suntea. Photo finish, a great finish to the race. Modern Era and Action Shot pairing down. Fort Knox then had a dive at them on the inside, and the judge calls for a photo finish for all placings. Leaning perhaps to Modern Era in the photo. 1:43 and change for the time as we wait the numbers to come through. Life's a Bounty had got there and looked a real challenger, but he just wilted on his run. Modern Era and Action Shot fighting it out in a head and bobbing finish, and then Fort Knox driving at them on the inside. But it's principally between Modern Era and Action Shot. It'll be a nose if there is a verdict. Here it is, 2 gets at Modern Era, Greg Childs. That has gone down to the closest of finishers. Second, 5, Action Shot, Peter Mertens. And third goes to 4, Fort Knox, ridden by Darren Beedman, 2, 5 and 4. A very, very narrow victory, as you can see, to Modern Era. Greg Childs getting home in a desperately close photo finish. Number 2, Modern Era for Brian Mayfield-Smith and Greg Childs taking out the Chubb Trophy. 5-second Action Shot, Peter Mertens and Tony Noonan, and 4-third Fort Knox, Darren Beedman and Rick Orlacey. So he can be beaten after all. 4th in, Life's a Bounty, number 3. 3.10 and 1.40 for the winner. $2 for second, $2.30 third. Quinella paid $10.40. The exacta $20.10. Trifecta $80.60. And the running double paid $6.50. Very, very narrow verdict, but he's got there in the nick of time. One more hop and Action Shot would have claimed him. 2 more hops and Fort Knox would have knocked the pair of them off. A beauty. 2, 5, 4 numbers on race 7. The Tui's plate. The next we take out 3 and 10, 11 to go around in race 8. It's due at 4:05.
Thanks, Greg, and well done on the Australian Cup call too. It was brilliant. Modern Era winning there. He'd bumped into Keep the Faith at his previous start, that terrific racehorse trained by Tony McAvoy, and we'll see Keep the Faith on Saturday. He's been nominated for the Canterbury Guineas over 1,900 metres. He's there with Desert War, that handy 3-year-old trained by Gay Waterhouse. Niello has been nominated, Sumai, but Keep the Faith is indeed the interesting runner for the Canterbury Guineas. But that's Modern Era winning at Flemington by a very, very narrow margin. Action Shot, Fort Knox, a little bit too early for the first 4 dividend. We've got Adelaide coming up, race 5, Cheltenham. Favourite.
I find it too hard to go past number 4, Royal Sash. I've liked it both runs this preparation. First up was terrific, just a little above itself, and was beaten in the narrowest of margins. Proved the form right when it improved to win at its next outing. No reason why it can't win again. Solid on course. Happy to have it on top. Number 2, Infinite Grace, although appeared a little disappointing in Adelaide, it is of great substance, of great quality, and looks very good. I'm happy to include it. Also, number 9, Liberty Rose, value, can produce a run first up. And also number 1, Silvana. I think I got it wrong first up when it did race as if it was a little bit big. It looks fitter today. It'll get back. I'm looking for horses that are going to be racing just back off the speed, because I think there's an abundance of speed up front. 4 ahead of 2, 9 and 1, Andrew.
Well, let's get the thoughts on Infinite Grace. John Simons joins us. John, first up, Swettenham Stud. Tell us about it.
Well, you know, it was disappointing on face value. It was very disappointing. We know I went over there and really thought that she could win fresh. You know, she ran a good race first up to Lovely Jubbly last time she was around, and you know, she got a little stirred up. Unfortunately, she was in season when we landed in Adelaide. She missed the start hopelessly, 3 lengths, went up on the heels, head back, you know, dragged back through the field, had to go again on the corner, and like they run home in 34. They went out in 34 and home in 34 virtually. So, you know, she didn't have much chance to be picking horses up. So, you know, on face value, it looked a very ordinary run, but I'm sure she'll kick back today.
I was just going to say a few things going in, getting her there in season, then the race things. Today's a different tale.
Yeah, a completely different tale today. You know, and you know, I guess the only problem is that we've only had 9 days between races, and you know, whether she's just right back to her very best. But you know, I'm sure she'll run a good race.
Bit of pace in the race. Will that help?
Yeah, that'll help. It'll help her find a position. Like, you know, she just couldn't position up in the Swettenham after missing the start, and I'm sure she can position up. She'll be there in the finish.
All right, good luck to you, John. And Sheila Laxon, your partner, yeah, are you married yet?
No, not yet. Not yet.
I asked with trepidation because every time I ask Sheila, it's close, but it doesn't seem to happen yet.
No, it hasn't happened yet. You'll be the first to know.
Anyway, I hope so. Sheila Laxon had an incident. She had a fall off the back of a truck a few weeks ago. How is she?
We keep her in a padded cell now, so it's the only way we can keep her off the injury list.
Good luck. I hope Sheila's watching. Good luck to you, and Infinite Grace. Let's hope it gets home for you.
Thank you. Thanks very much.
John Simons joining us. Thanks, mate. Infinite Grace. Run through what's happening. It's been easy. It is unders the tope at 470. Royal Sash, rock solid. At the mark, 250 is right on the same on and off. Mardi Gras, there's some value. $10 the tote. Look, it's been a little bit easy, but there's some value there. And the rest of them have been easy. Liberty Rose, number 9, just on that second page of tote odds. It's just under what they're betting on track at the moment at $9.10. It has been easy. It's a double figure odds, so there's not a lot between on and off track. That's the run through. Back to the Australian Cup, Matt. I can tell you that there has been an inquiry into interference in the straight regarding Lonhro, sound action. Dan Nikolic was also in the inquiry regarding Mummify. No action will be taken against any jockey. Darren Beedman said for 2 strides there was a gap between 2 horses, and then realised once he was there it tightened up. That's therefore when he's come off out of off heels again. So no action to be taken against any jockey regarding interference in the straight in the Australian Cup.
The riders will be relieved about that. Darren in particular, who missed the ride on Lonhro at his previous race start, the St George Stakes. He was on suspension. He'd hate to cop another one coming into the Sydney Autumn Carnival, but they're all in the clear, all of those riders out of the Australian Cup. Royal Sash is the firm pick here at Flemington as they get around to the start. 250 Super Tab, 230 New South Wales and 250 Unitab. Of course, we will be replaying all of today's races tonight following our live greyhound coverage, and we will start our overnight replays with the program at Flemington. So we'll replay the Australian Cup, the Sires Produce, plus all races from Cheltenham, Rosehill and Eagle Farm. If you missed the Australian Cup today, it is certainly well worth seeing. But as I mentioned earlier, I'm hoping it would be all over the news tonight. They'd be missing a great story if they leave that one out. Lonhro's incredible performance in the Cup. All right, let's hand you over to Greg Miles for the Tui's new plate at Flemington.
Righto, Matt, solid favourite here is Royal Sash. They've been running a little bit late here, what with presentations and what have you. But they have assembled over at the gates here. Royal Sash, solid number 1 pick in the race. Bookies just starting to ease her out a little bit better than the odds shown on the tote at the moment at $2.60. Infinite Grace, second pick in the race. And again, better odds on track. And Mardi Gras, she looked well as she stepped out onto the track. Dan Nikolic on board. And she'll run third favourite in it. Liberty Rose can pull a run out fresh. Damien Oliver on board, won this race a couple of years ago on Shelburne Less. Previous on the card taken by Modern Era in a desperately close photo. There was just a margin there over Action Shot, and no doubt Fort Knox probably would have won the race if he'd got a run through on the inside earlier than it came, so he was very unlucky. Definite black book out of the race, Fort Knox. Tough performance by Modern Era to get home. Lonhro simply outstanding in his win in the Australian Cup. Brave performance from Dalzao and Elvstrom, the 3-year-olds, to run the placings. The 3-year-olds don't win that Australian Cup very often at weight for age. Has only been Saintly and Dulcify win the Australian Cup, so outstanding performances by both the 3-year-olds. Barely a moment, pardon me, won the Sires for Greg Childs. Darren Beedman with 3, Greg Childs with 2. Now the riding honours. Now they're moving in, coming up for the second last. Taffeta about to get a lead up to the gates. Taffeta coming along into the stalls now. Infinite